Welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More Work Less. Hi, my name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on Unlocking the Mind, we talk about another cognitive bias. And the reason why we do this is so that we can better understand how we can make decisions, how our minds work, how we can go and negotiate better, build better relationships, or even prevent ourselves from falling into cognitive traps that we are actually exposed to each and every single day. Now, to introduce our theme for today, let me ask you a question. Well, first of all, I'll explain to you what I think a chair would look like. Well, a chair to me is basically, four legs, very simple, no armrest, just a flat piece and then a backing. So that's, in my mind, what a chair looks like. And basically, it's the very first image of a chair that comes into my mind. So if I asked you, what is your image of a chair? Can you explain it to me? Or can you tell me what you can think of? Well, with all these chairs in the background here, you might be thinking of a lot of different options. You might think, oh, there's armrest, there's a cushion, it's comfy, there's actually some big cushions on the back, or it could be actually be this one right here where there's only one leg and it kind of swivels and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's the concept of availability heuristic. Basically, it's one of two things. We gain information or make decisions or come up with decisions or comes up with answers or solutions based on the very first thing that pops in our head. So in my situation, the very first thing that popped into my head was the ideal chair that I could think of, what I'm used to, what I see all the time. Whereas for yourself, the first thing that came to mind is what you see and what's available to you at this very moment. So that is availability heuristic or availability bias. And the actual definition is the mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to a given person's mind when evaluating a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. Now, here's a few other examples of how availability heuristic is actually in effect. So if I ask you, what is the likelihood of Tom being A, an astronaut, or B, a teacher? Now, most likely than not, you'll probably go and think in your mind, I know a lot of teachers out there. So the probability of Tom being a teacher is probably pretty high. So you'll pick B, a teacher. Because you probably may or may not know many astronauts out there. So your probability of Tom being an astronaut is pretty low. Here's some other questions for you. And this is pretty fun because it's kind of interesting as to how we actually think. Now, what's more risky? Riding a roller coaster or riding a merry-go-round? What's more risky? Being a shark trainer or a cattle rancher? And the third question is, what's more risky? Riding a bike or walking on the streets? Well, here's the actual facts of and statistics of these situations and what's actually more risky. There's actually, out of all the issues and all the problems and all the injuries that come from carnivals and amusement parks and all that kind of stuff, less than 10% actually comes from roller coasters, whereas 20% of injuries actually come from merry-go-rounds. When it comes to shark trainer and also a cattle rancher, you are actually 11 times more likely to be killed by a cow than you would be by a shark. And thirdly, there's 4,000 people in the entire year that gets killed when walking down the street, which is a lot more than people biking. So the reason why we came up with those decisions when it comes to what's more risky, most likely than not, we think of, oh, the roller coaster must be more risky, or biking is more risky, and of course, training a shark must be more risky, because the first thing that comes to mind is the thrill of a roller coaster, the dangerousness of a shark, and those are the first images that come into our minds. Therefore, we quickly jump to the conclusion that all that stuff must be more risky. So because of the fact that all those things are right at the tip of our minds, the first thing that pops up, we give it more importance, we give it more emphasis, and therefore we believe it's probably more true, or the probability is higher because those are the first images that come to mind. So how do we kind of go against that thought process? How do we go against this availability bias? Well, we need to do more research. We need to allow ourselves to be more open-minded, allow more information to come in, allow more time to actually research and look at the data, look at the information that's being presented to us before we jump into conclusions. So when it comes to building a website, when it comes to creating a personal brand, when it comes to going up and doing a presentation, we have to be very cognizant of what that first impression is, because people are very quick to judge what they see firsthand, what they experience right away. And if we kind of take a step back and go, okay, what would people experience first? What would their first impression be first? Then you can kind of come up with the best strategic action that you can to make it more memorable. The other thing is frequency. We add more frequency to our exposure. We keep on putting it out there, what our message, what our brand is, so that people keep on seeing the availability of our message, the availability of our brand and of our face and of our company, so that the first thing that comes to mind is that image, is that message, and relates that to you, so that they would in fact be susceptible to that availability heuristic. So that's how we can actually use it to our advantage, and how we can go against it by doing more research and by doing more knowledge gathering. Now, when it comes to, for instance, social media, we all understand that we need to have more social media out there, but how do you pick the very first one that makes the most impact? You could do more research to find which one has the most impact, but more likely than not, it may be a decision that you've made because of a recent conversation that you had somebody. Now, you might be watching this on YouTube, and therefore you go, you know what? To get best exposure, let's do YouTube, because this is the first thing that came to mind. This is something that you're experiencing right now, and therefore this is the choice that you make. But however, you may or may not know that maybe Facebook has better engagement, or maybe LinkedIn has more engagement with the type of people that you want to connect with. So that is availability heuristic, or availability bias. We need to think long-term strategies, have it out there so that we can kind of go against that bias, so that we can better position ourselves to be more effective and be more strategic. Now, if you like this episode, please go back to some of our previous episodes on unlocking the mind. And if you like this one, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I love seeing comments. And if you like this show, we also have the Peak Potential Success Show, the Make More Mind Bites show, and also the Master Mind Bites that's always updated every single week. So until next time, today is the day to unlock your potential. We'll see you later.